everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of 10 Minute Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. In today's episode, I got my guy, my mentee, my little broski in the building. Travis, man, what's going on, boy?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you taking time to get on the podcast. We talk all the time offline, but it's great to get you recorded and get you on the pod, man. So appreciate you being on. So we've done a number of these. Travis, man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
All right. So my name is Travis McGarr, and I have been in the analytics space about 4 years. Coming from a construction background, had an opportunity to make a pivot into a new career, which is data analytics. And being 4 years into it, I really like what I'm doing, and I really have a lot of people relying on me for data. So
Love it, love it. So 4 years in it, been grinding, been hustling, been doing everything, utility knife, doing all the different data projects. But you started in construction and it did a number of things. But, at one point you talked about pivoting from construction to data. What really compels you to even get into data to begin with?
Well, this is going all the way back from high school, and I remember my aunt had bought me and my brothers a web TV. I don't know if you remember web TV, but it was a device about the size of a VCR, and you can be able to browse the internet from your TV. And I remember I was getting in chat rooms and talking with different people that I would meet, and you send in emails, and so when I open up a person's email, they have music playing and nice little background. I was like, man, how do you do that? So someone explained to me it's a JavaScript. I was like, okay. And this is so nostalgic for me because I remember instead of using a Control C to copy the code, man, I'm handwriting the squiggly braces and the brackets and stuff line for line until I got the result. And so fast forward like 25, 30 years later, I got an opportunity to do some coding, and which was SQL. So of course, kind of operates the same way with the coding. And I was like, man, this kind of takes me back to when I was on web TV. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Shout out to Web TV, man. I remember that, and I remember that console. I never coded out of it, but it's cool to see how it translates from one to the other and how it all comes full circle with
Yeah.
everything. All right, so actually, next question would be the context of this one would be when I was 16, I worked at the theater and I can never stand the smell of popcorn. I never eat popcorn again. Or, I did the summer job at some place that I didn't love. Anyway, so the context of this, what is your favorite job that you ever had? What is I'm going to edit this out. I'm trying to do this off the top of the head without looking at my notes. And so let me ask this again. All right. All right. So the context of this question is like when I was 16, I was working at a summer camp and I hated it. I would never work at a summer camp again. Or I worked at a movie theater and I cannot stand the smell of popcorn. So with that in mind, what's been your least favorite job to date?
Wow, least favorite job, I would probably say there was one job in construction. This is probably maybe 10 years ago, working with a guy, and I was afraid of heights. I'm not anymore, but I was afraid of heights. And we was on a particular job, and it was a tile plant in Clarksville. And we was in a boom lift. He said, you ever drove a boom lift? I was like, nah. So he had a boom lift, and I had to get in one. And so we were up 45 feet in the air. Man, dude, it was one of those situations where he was basically testing me to see if I do it. So he gets, we're up 45 feet in the air, and he decides, he's like, hey, man, I got to use the restroom. Stay up here, pull this cable, and I'll be right back. Well, be right back was 45 minutes later. So he done took lunch. He's, looking at the site plans and everything. He comes back. He's like, hey, man, you all right? I was like, dude, get me down now. He's like, you've been up here about 45 minutes to an hour. You ready to come on down? I was like, well, you know what? I've been up here this long. I guess I'm not afraid of heights anymore because I would have already came down off this lift. So that broke my fear of heights. So
Wow. Wow. So that, everybody has their way of instructions and teaching. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Man, 45 minutes up there. I would have lost I would have lost it. But
yeah,
yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. All right, so the philosophy that I live by is called failing forward. So you never really fail at anything that you're working on or anything that you're trying to achieve. It's just lessons to get you to the next step. So with that in mind, what would you consider your biggest failure in your career, and what you really learn from that experience?
This is another one that comes to mind. This is dealing with data. So I used to be a manager at Wendy's. I don't know if you knew that, but I used to be a manager at Wendy's, and so when I came out of my training program with Wendy's, they teach you how to, open the shift, close down the shift, as far as making sure that the money that you started out with is basically what you have at the end of the night. And so my training manager gave me this program on Excel, and it's basically how they conducted all the registers, make sure there's a certain amount of money in each register. So I remember, once again, not really remembering or even recalling of Control C, Control V. I actually deleted an entire day's data.
Oh,
I didn't even know what was what. And instead of me, just going back to a previous save, I went back and did further damage and tried to recreate or make a copy of it. And I made a copy of the deleted data, the spreadsheet. And luckily, my manager, he said, I figured you'd do something like that. So I already had another copy that I've been keeping up with. And so here you go. Don't do that again. And I didn't do it again. Um, maybe if I did an undo or, you know, at least try to go back and see what I did wrong to pick it up, I would have figured it out. But
yeah.
whew, whoa,
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Wow.
yeah,
Like, shout out to the manager for having a backup, right? Because understanding that it could happen. But yeah, those are one of those ones where you delete anything and your heart just drops of like, oh, everything I messed up. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. So,
yeah,
shout out to the manager for having a backup.
oh
All
yeah.
right. So follow up question to that. So curious, right? Because you mentioned learning Excel, working at Wendy's, and then you have industry experience with construction and stuff. So for the data analyst or someone who's consuming this information, how big of a role does industry experience really give you when it comes to doing your data analysis work?
I would say it definitely gives you an edge. For instance, the role I'm at now, my construction experience definitely plays a role in the sense that I know how a job operates from, quoting the job, however many products you're going to need, however many resources you're going to need. Do we need to hire some temporary workers? That plays a role in what I do now. So with that industry experience, that kind of puts me above a person coming in that doesn't know anything about the role or what the company stands for. It definitely plays a role. So that's the reason why when a lot of people tell you if you got industry experience, put that on your resume. That's exactly what's needed
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
the edge. Because if it's someone that doesn't have the experience versus someone that does have experience, more than likely the one with the experience will get the job.
yeah. And I feel like it's so vital to say on tape, on record, because a lot of people, you think of AI, you think of all the different people coming out, and it's just like, man, I've never done this. But your years of experience like matter more than you being able to do a pivot table and an X lookup and different things. Like to be able to articulate what's going on in common language and understand it, and then do something is huge.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, you're right about that. Because I can teach you how to make a pivot table,
Right.
but I can't teach you how to have an eye to be able to know how many resources you're gonna need on that job site.
Yep. Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So we mentioned this earlier. 4 years experience in data analytics. You've done a number of things. You had to really grind, grit, power through to get your role. So someone could be looking at this and be like, man, I want to be like Travis, or I'm trying to get, my foot in the door. So with that in mind, what is one piece of advice you give someone who's just starting out in their career?
Man, I got a couple of pieces of advices, but real simple. Get ready to work. Um, if you're lazy, it's not the job for you, not the field for you. You will have to work, and you need to have good communication skills. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you got a question, even if you think it's a stupid question, you need to ask it. And, if available, record your meetings if you're ever in meetings. So that way you can refer back to it, because taking notes, handwriting notes, more than likely, you're going to miss some valuable pieces of information. So get ready to work, communicate, record your meetings if possible.
All like fundamental fire skill sets, because it's not even to the core of master SQL and master Tableau. It's like work, because you could learn these things, and then
Yeah.
communication and understand what's going on and ask questions. Like those are soft skills that are not going to go away anytime soon. That's phenomenal, man. So appreciate that.
Yeah.
Great answer. Great answer. All right, Travis, tell me about the most influential people in your life and how they made an impact on you.
So I would say it's a few people on that. So I'll say my dad. I've been working ever since I was 12 years old. And I remember my dad getting up and working. He said, sometimes you're going to work and you don't want to work. You got to get up and put in the work. Um, so my dad on that one. Um, another person, he's no longer with us, but Kobe Bryant, another person as far as work ethic. And then I also say you, my mentor. Um, Man, you helped me definitely a lot. But it goes back to that work ethic, because you saw that I was putting in the work, trying to get my first role as a data analyst. You saw that work and you was like, hey, I'm willing to help you. And one time when I was slacking, he was like, hey man, I mean, I help you out, I give you a wireframing. Let's be honest, Sekou. That wireframe, I mean, it probably would have got me the job, but it was just so basic. And I kind of took it to the next level. And of course, the rest is history. But, you gave me a chance. And that's exactly what people need in this world. They need chances, especially the guidance and the know how to be able to do stuff. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
Definitely you, man.
appreciate that, bro. Hey, that's solid, man. Shout out to Pops. You're right. They always set the tone for the work ethic. We all know Kobe Mama mentality. We know what it's like to get in that mindset. Me and you talk about it all the time. And then, I appreciate it. Like, you hit me up. So it wasn't anything that I did, the looking. You hit me up and was just like, hey, I need assistance and help. And I believe I'm a big believer in pulling the next person up, especially someone that looks like you and in your demographic. And I believe you get blessed that way. So, man, appreciate the nice words, brother. That's awesome, man. Appreciate you, man. You're killing it and crushing it. All right. So, where can listeners find you at online, Travis?
So I am always on LinkedIn. You can look me up, Travis McGarr. Pretty active on there. More than likely, if you friends with Sekou, you'll find me on there. And then you can always email me, McGarr.Travis at email, not Gmail, email.com.
Awesome. Y'all heard him. Follow him on LinkedIn. Get him out there. Connect with them. We'll get him blogging and on YouTube at some point this year in 2026. You share that knowledge, man. Travis, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being on, man.
No problem, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And as I said at the beginning, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all have a great day.